So today we are making dessert. I'm attempting to open a thing of marshmallow cream here. This marshmallow cream is perfectly safe for those of us that are Torah observant. I did my research. A lot of marshmallows products and whatnot have lard in them, which is a no-go for us. This has no lard. On the unfortunate side of things, it does have corn syrup in it. It's almost like I need 2 spoons here. And this is just the Great Value Walmart brand marshmallow cream. This recipe calls for 8 ounces of marshmallow cream, and already in the pan is 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk. And then I got to get a little bit more out of another cup of marshmallow cream because these are only 7-ounce cups. It's one of those things with shrinkflation there. Seems like every year the price stays the same, but the container gets a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to guesstimate. That looks like about 1 ounce. The rest of it can go in the fridge. Now we're at 3 cups of chocolate chips. Quarter cup of butter. Which, for those of you playing the home game, a quarter cup of butter is half a stick of butter. Looks about right. First to do no butter keeper. There we go. And then it is 1.5 cups of white sugar, powdered sugar. You got to be real careful on this step too. Make sure you don't get the pan too hot, because if the stuff starts to caramelize on the bottom, it's really going to alter the flavor of the end result here. So constantly stirring really helps. Once the marshmallow cream is totally broken down and liquefied, all the little globs will go away in here. You can kind of see them there. That's marshmallow cream, not sugar. But once all that stuff works its way out, you just got to constantly stir it. Almost there. Alright. Next step is the chocolate chips. This recipe calls for 3 cups of chocolate chips. I'm being difficult here and I'm using a half cup, so bear with me. One cup, 2 cups, 2.5, 3, and the rest of the bag can be an additional snack for later. There's one more ingredient I gotta add here. That is vanilla extract. To stir this in as well. This recipe, you do not want to let this boil because that marshmallow cream will bubble up out of the pan and that'll just make a huge mess. And so we're going to turn this heat down some more. We just got to work in the chocolate chips. One teaspoon, half, and a whole. Get back to stirring here. So you can really start to see that chocolate working its way through now. This is going to be so good. So now, if we were just going to be making normal fudge, you'd just mix this until everything's fully incorporated. Pour it out in your pan for it to set up. And you're good to go. But this recipe is not going to be normal fudge. I have one more ingredient I have to chop up to add to this. And you may be thinking pecans, walnuts, something like that. Not me. This ingredient is a little more evil than that. Here on my cutting board, I have something that is very not nice. If you have sensitive skin, I recommend you wear gloves. And I recommend those gloves be vinyl or nitrile. If they're latex, these peppers will eat right through those gloves. If you're wondering what kind of peppers these are, this lighter colored one here is a ghost pepper that I picked a little early. This is also a ghost pepper. These two here, and the big way to differentiate ghost peppers from my other peppers here are the way the ends are. See how this end is indented in? These two are Carolina Reapers. See now, my fingers are burning just a little bit from doing this. This just smells very not nice. But once it's mixed in with all the lipids and the fudge, it won't be so bad. The lipids neutralize capsaicin. So instead of getting, a couple million worth of burn, you're only going to get 500,000, maybe a million. hard to have proper knife skills when your fingers are on fire. I'm trying to make this quick and trying not to cut myself. Alright. Now that we've got these cut up, we add these over and mix them in. That's going to be a full pan. That's all right though. So there we have it. Add some fudge. We'll get back to the rest of eating it in a few hours once it cools in the fridge. Alright, so I made a mistake and I licked some chocolate off of my thumb before I washed my hands. I have since drank the rest of the gallon of milk. I have resorted to drinking the rest of the condensed milk as well.